Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream. So sorry about the delay starting this. It's been a little bit of an adventure with with the contractor, but everything is good. So hopefully the audio is coming in okay. I've had some trouble when I started OBS this morning, um, and the hopefully the video is coming in okay as well. Oh, thank you, Atlantica. Welcome, 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 VChex. Welcome, Jenny. Uh, so happy Saturday, everybody. And so I want to start with a couple of updates. First of all is something that I wanted to show you guys real quick. And this is something that I've been kind of working towards this week as well, just to, uh, well, that's going to be this. So I was able to build a project successfully. There were some warnings, a number of warnings, but that's mostly just related to materials and everything else. But I just wanted to quickly show it to you and kind of it's going to load us into the facility area, that kind of chemical plant area. But I'm really happy with the performance actually, and it's yeah, things are working pretty well. I've been a little scared when it first loaded in because it was running pretty poorly, and what I realized was that it was actually um, and yeah, I still need to do like a better loading thing so that it loads properly, but um, hey, Maxim, welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by. Yeah, so as I was saying, I was very happy with the performance in this, and like right now, let's see, where is it running? So it's right around 45, 50 frames per second. But yeah, when I first started it, it was running pretty poorly, and most of it was due to the initial build being set to all the settings being set to Epic. And also, one thing that I'm trying to figure out is I can recall from the resolution setting, this one influences the frame rate tremendously. So I think the resolution is you can go to like 100, and it's going to cut down on the performance quite a lot, but um, without a very big visual impact, to be honest with you. And so, I've been playing around with the setting, and this is a little buggy here, so it's not like working very well. But somewhere around between 50 and 60 is actually providing some pretty good frame rate. And again, the visual aspect of it is pretty good. But yeah, everything else is working. Like. This is another thing that I've fixed, kind of the handling and how things look when it comes to the little the little fun forklift forklift mechanic. So yeah, the things that are showing up right now, it's the fact that this one still has receives decals. So there's the decals on the ground that are like showing up over there, but and for whatever reason, I got stuck in something. So yeah, that's and of course the some fixes to yeah, that's what I was talking about when it came to the decals, and it seems to have gotten stuck, and there's some kind of hole down there. Yeah, it looks like the clear capsule also has some issues, but yeah, that's Um, this is the development build as well, and I'm not sure if when it comes to shipping if that's if it's gonna work even better. So yeah, the so right now this is running with another instance of Unreal Engine running in the background. And one thing that I've been running into the past few days, and I'm not sure if I managed to fix it, is some kind of like a memory leak from the editor. I've tried to move around my RAM modules. Hopefully that might have assisted with that. But yeah, so it's the build works perfectly. The one thing that I'm still trying to figure out is and actually let me see, I can quick this real quick. And the one thing that I couldn't figure out is it performs better when it's inside of this area. But once it's outside, the frame rates drop, even though there's like quite a big, um, a better draw call numbers. But once it's outside, for whatever reason, it performs worse than when it's inside of this complex here. So I'm still looking into that, not entirely sure why that's happening. Um, but yeah, that's I think that's kind of the biggest thing. Another thing is that you might notice here, if you were looking at it last week, the world itself had like close to 30,000 actors. So what I went and did was I've merged a bunch of these actors that were in this chemical plant, and now all of these like big buildings are actually just one mesh. I'm still debating whether that's a good way to do it or to go about things, but that's what brought down my draw call a lot, as well as the number of actors. And on one hand, I'm hoping that it might help with the world partition, not having to load as many actors at the same time. But on the other hand, um, I'm not entirely sure if like one of these actors being like, I don't know, like 40, 50 megabytes would impact performance in any way. So I'm still trying to investigate that. Um, yeah, so as I was saying, fixed a bunch of the map check errors, and that was also a good thing for building the project. Because being able to build a project, I think it's something that you have to do every so often, just so that you make sure you're not introducing any errors. So removing all the errors, and right now upon build, I only have like warnings related mostly to materials. So Maxim, is this forklift that gets somewhere? Can it carry something and can it kill zombies? Yeah, so no zombies in my project here, but the forklift will be used in a mission that's going to happen in this region to move some pallets around. So I can show you how that would be. I'm hoping I still have the pallet. Let me jump into game mode here real quick. And so the forklift can pick up anything with um, anything that has physics. And I was actually thinking of posting like kind of a funny video, I would say, of the forklift flipping over one of the enemy trucks. Because I don't think I've seen something like that done in a video game before. So yeah, let's try that and see if it works. That'd be kind of funny. I have to check first, of course, if that enemy truck has physics enabled, but that's kind of outside of what the forklift is going to be intended for. It's just going to be something localized in this area, and hopefully it's going to go into game mode at some point. I'm not getting anything from this, but um, yeah, I was just trying to test kind of some funny physics and see if, because I was able to flip like the SUV vehicle that's in the world with the forklift, just picking it up and like um, you know, in the US there's like a funny thing about cow tipping. So people that live in rural areas might go on a farm, and I'm not sure if it's done nowadays, but it was kind of a funny thing to be done back in the day. But yeah, let me see why. Oh, there it goes. Like I was saying, I've noticed some memory leaks from the Unreal Editor. I'm not sure why. From talking to other people, it seems like that happened to them as well. So it's not an isolated thing. And I think everybody knows the meme with Unreal Editor eating up all the RAM that you have available. Um, so let me get this a little bit bigger. Right, so the missions would be kind of like this, like you'd be able to get up on into the forklift, and you'd have to like pick up a couple of these pallets and stack them. So basically, left click, right click to for the claws to go down, and then you'd be able to, let me see, I think that's it, and then you'd be able to like kind of lift these up. And of course, I mentioned this in a previous stream that I'm hoping to uh, the pallets that you need to pick up to have them attached to the forklift, because right now it's all based on physics. So depending on how aggressive you are with the forklift driving, this might come off. See, like that. This might come off of the forklift. And so yeah, kind of trying to bring this over to a different placement and completing the mission that way. So basically, kind of just bring it here, for example, and uh, and then lower it down. Whoops. Yeah, so it's got a little, and that's why I was saying I might want to have it so that it's a little bit scripted, so it's not. Um, there you go. So pretty much like that. That would be the side mission. But one of the things that I was able to do is anything that has physics can literally be affected by this. So if I was to, let's take a drive. I'm hoping I'm not going to get stuck in any problematic geometry. But let's take a drive to where that um, the hopefully I'm not going to fall through this. The physics for this road is a little honky. But yeah, where where the enemy truck is. Oh yeah, and one of the issues I think is because that that claw was on the ground and it was just dragging around. So let's go outside of this facility. And this is another thing I'm not sure how much I'm liking. I like the walls being here, kind of being that imposing and stuff. But as part of the game, I'm starting to not feel it so much. So. It's actually kind of funny that with the real-time reflection, you can actually see where you're going, like if you were to back up. So I do like that about the Lumen reflections. That's pretty awesome. Stephen Cardy, do you want the palette to be wobbly? That's actually a good thought about the palette being heavier. What I was thinking of doing is actually like as you can see, like the I'm not sure what you call this, like the ladle or something. Since that one, I can have the palette just be attached to it once it gets into a certain position. And that point is just going to be completely attached to this, and physics are not going to be applied to it anymore. And I think I might go with that. So, kind of a semi-scripted type of thing. Yeah. I haven't really thought about, I think I might have tried increasing the the weight, but I can't recall if that worked. I think it still kind of behaved a little weird. So my apologies about the wobbling. I think it's just related to the road physics. Andre, maybe you can make the road clip smooth and just add camera shake for that effect. Yeah, that's. I'm not sure if I follow, but if I think of what were you thinking, I think that might be a good idea. Farming Simulator has good forklift handling. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Uh, I'll take a look at and see how they do it. I'm sure there's got to be some clips on YouTube. And I definitely need to fix that receiving decals option on the skeletal mesh because it's like every time there's a decal, of course, that's not gonna be what how it's gonna end up like. But yeah, let's see if we can make it all the way to the one thing that I can't recall is the body of the enemy truck might not be physically might not have physics enabled, so I might be going and not really doing anything to it. And oh my God, I'm starting to get dizzy. I'm not sure about you guys from all the jumping around. So I'm gonna try and go off road with this. Maybe it's gonna smooth things out a little bit. Not so much. But I think we're pretty close to where the road is. And I get to use the reset function. All right, so let's see if we can flip the bad guys. That'd be something interesting, but so there they are over here. It's kind of interesting that the turret did not start. I'm wondering if it's something related to me being in the forklift. Oh, hey, check that out. That's actually kind of fun. I'm sure the physics are pretty messed up with it, but hey, whoops. Oh, damn it. The collisions on the rocks are pretty, they're not that well set up, so it's let me try and exit the forklift. Hoping I'm not gonna die or anything, but all right, the forklift got stuck inside the cliff. I guess that's normal. But hey, you can actually pick up the bad guy and throw him off the cliff with the forklift. Oh God, that's kind of funny. But anyway, so that was a fun little thing to do. Um, so it's always fun to work with physics. Yeah, and another update. Last week I was showing some of this kind of I wouldn't call them administration buildings, but these kind of like these brick buildings that are going to be around towards one of the exits from the facility, from the kind of the chemical plant. And these are the same as. Let's actually go and edit this level real quick, and I'll show you what I mean by merging all these buildings. I think I might have, um, I should have kept it a little bit simpler because when I merge these buildings, it's a little tough because there's so many elements to these buildings. But like I said, it definitely helped. Like I was able to have the number of actors, and this is between three levels actually. So this is between this level, this chemical plant level, the residential area where there's like the homes, and I think those are the main ones. So right now, um, there's like this big item here, right? It's one actor, and but this one is a pretty big size, and it's got a ton of materials. I literally just done it maybe a couple of days ago, so I didn't get around to actually bring it into Blender and start um, optimizing the materials or removing some of the materials because some of them are kind of reused in probably a few different places that they don't have to be. So yeah, there's like this one also is I've made it into one actor and this one here as well. So these are like the main big ones. Stuff like this, which is a little smaller, I'm totally fine with it the way it is as one actor. And it's got like a lot less materials as well. I think it's got like 20, maybe, let's see, I guess a little more, so 27. So that's still quite a bit, quite a big number of materials. But from this being, I think maybe 150 separate actors being, um, so I've replaced it with one that's got like 27. So like I said, the draw call dropped dramatically. But the main thing is when it comes to a really big one like this one. So I'm still debating whether to kind of chop it down into, 3 or 4 different parts. But so far so good. On the build version, it performance is actually better than I have expected. So that's a good thing, I guess. But yeah, so that's what I ended up doing for this. As you can see, this particular one, I did not get to do the merging really well. So there's like some open spaces here that I just need to edit in Blender. But yeah, things like this, for example, this was perfect for to merge it into one object. Kind of stuff like this. These I guess I've called them observation posts. I'm not sure about. Uh, I've tried to come up with a meaningful name, so to speak. And yeah, I still need to move some of these into place. But for example, things like this. This is one actor now. Something like this is also one actor because it basically reuses quite a lot of materials. Like the walls, the ventilation shafts, and that made sense to me. Like I said, this one here being so big, I might want to kind of split it into 2 or 3 different ones, but that's to be tried and seen. But yeah, uh, so yeah, as I also mentioned, these buildings here, these are much more efficient. These I think they have um, 7 or 8 materials, because there's like the different types of bricks, the windows, maybe some of the metals like the door, the bottom part of it. So these ones definitely are a lot more efficient as far as like the number of materials. I think this one only has 5. And I think this one has 8, and this one's the one that has a little bit more materials to it. But but yeah, so that was kind of one of the other updates that I wanna that I'm at least that I'm trying to do and see if it things work, perform a little bit better. Still adjusting to how the LODs are being applied to these because as you can see, I think at this distance is, yeah, it's still kind of the bricks along the edge, they kind of start breaking up a little bit. There's quite a lot of detail in these meshes, but yeah, there's still some kind of, yeah, I'm seeing some issues here. So I might edit these meshes to remove some of these corners around them. The original developer made it look really nice, but they turn out to be really high poly. So since I'm not using nanite, I still need to at least manage it a little bit better. Um, and one thing that I did run into, if anybody's interested in merging meshes, is the option to set the mesh to use Lumen. It's not selected by default. So for example, like if you were to look at this mesh, when I merged this, I did not have that selected. So whenever you go to Tools um, and Merge Actors on the settings, where was that? Mm, Allow distance field is not selected by default. And okay, I'm okay with that. Okay, it's not selected. Maybe people don't use distance fields. But the weird thing is, so this creates a new asset, and you can export it as an FBX. But when you import it, it fails for no particular reason without any message. And so you have to import it as a different FBX file, which to me is just doesn't really make sense. So yeah, VCheX, the forklift, if you make it bigger, um, oh yeah, under the barrels, that's a good idea too. I'll take a look and see if that might do it. Thank you for the suggestion. Um, yeah, so that's just something if you think about doing, merging meshes like I have, is something to keep in mind. Like for example, and this is kind of exact. I can show you exactly what happens. So for example, this mesh here, this hanger, I've re-imported this, and let me see if I have the old one. And I'll show you what I mean. So if I use the old one, as you can see, none of the distance fields contribution is taken into account, and Lumen doesn't work properly. So that's why you have to, and I actually put a little note on my desk saying, make sure you have that thing selected. I guess I didn't follow my advice. Let's put it that way for some of these. Um, yeah. So yeah, there it is. I was able to, like I said, cut back on a ton of the actors being used, which is makes things a lot easier to manage, especially on this size of the world. And yeah, there's still, like I said, there's still some things that I need to end up fixing, like this thing kind of ending up in the world, in the air. But for that, something as simple as one of these brick buildings could could make things work pretty well. Let me see if I might just use exactly this arrangement here. And hopefully I can duplicate these. There we go. And again, I think having these brick meshes interspersed along with the metal work, I think adds a little bit of variety to the scene. So, um, Andre, or add a trash bin below it. Yeah, that's also an idea. For it to be stacked placed higher up. How are you going to do the cinematics? So the cinematics, I think that's a really good question. I was thinking of doing it using like some sequencer setup um, or something like that, but I'm still debating on it, as far as oof, and I'm just noticing this now. The Some of the UVs got a little bit messed up. And, okay, something to be fixed when it comes to this mesh. Ray Sane, hey, welcome back. Good to see you again. But yeah, so I think having, like I said, having these brick buildings in between some of the metal stuff should help with giving a little bit more variety of everything is all this just this kind of metal pipe type of a construction, corrugated metal. Yeah, that should a little break in between. Yeah, so those were some of the updates. I think the biggest one, as I was saying, was the being able to build a project and it performing actually, like I said, quite a bit better than I was expecting because I'm still far off from fully optimizing this. But uh, yeah, hopefully I'll be able to spend more time on it and just get it running even better. But at least for now, and trying to prep for like a pre-alpha type of demo, uh, it seems to be working quite all right. All right, so for the rest of the stream, I was thinking of maybe doing a little bit of work around here, and also one thing that I've kind of neglected because we've been doing quite a bit of work around this chemical plant. But one thing that I've somewhat, like I said, neglected is I've removed all the vegetation from around the um, around the world, just in an attempt to do some cleanup. As you can see, there's like no trees, no rocks, no nothing around here. So I was thinking maybe do a little bit of that today, and kind of fill it in a little bit, and see how things are working out. Maybe also touch on this little area around here, around this kind of I wouldn't call it like a peak, but this little mound, hill, whatever I guess geologically you would call this. Yeah. Vichax, how you plan the level design? Um, well, so I started off with, I have to be honest, I do take a lot of inspiration from, I think I mentioned this before, from games like Days Gone and Far Cry 5. But um, as far as, and most of it was from the aspect of, okay, this is going to be the playable area, you know, this square here, basically, right? And I wanted to be able um, to give the player the idea, just like if you think of, again, kind of brings me back to thinking of Far Cry and Days Gone, because you have like limits to how far the player can go. And that this particular height map was really good to showcase for that. Now towards this end, this is going to be limited by this kind of water body, so you're not going to be able to go too far that way. And on each one of these roads, there's going to be like a tunnel, and of course, it's going to be blocked. What do you know? Just like in Days Gone, just like in Far Cry 5. So um, and that will kind of help contain the player within the area, and that's kind of the main overall overarching level design. And after that, I just kind of thought of, okay, where do I want to place this kind of little main town area? Then where do I want to place like a little bit of a residential area with like some houses? And then where do I want to place like an industrial area, which is this one over here, where kind of the some things are happening. And along with that, just some small random areas around the map, like these antenna towers, where you're gonna have some missions around these, and then like a little bit of a kind of mobile home trailer park area around here. So that was, I was trying to, at least in my mind, to make it to plan it as realistic as possible. And once I have that in place, I created like the linkage between everything, so in this case, this is how I was thinking about doing the roads, right? So all of these are going to end up into like either a tunnel. In this case, this one is also going to be like a tunnel this way, a tunnel over here, this one over here also like into a tunnel, and this one is just the road to the dam, the electrical dam. And um, and after that, it just comes down to, painting the terrain, adding some vegetation, and so yeah, that was my uh, thought process, I guess you would say. Vchex, I hope that helps you a little bit. And Stephen, using PCG, I'm not using PCG. I'm using just the regular procedural tools, like literally let's actually do that real quick while I'm talking, because I guess I could have started generating that. Um, so the procedural foliage tool, I haven't used the the PCG yet. I know it's pretty powerful. I just didn't really have the time to learn it or to look into it. And yeah, so and I'm not entirely I'm not entirely sure how good it works. Uh, I've seen there's a few tutorials on it, I think, but for now I'm just gonna stick to the procedural foliage tool because I understand it and I've started understanding it better. There's still some confusing aspects about it, like when it comes to grow in shade and the shade area and all those types of things. But it works. I'm not sure if it's the PCG is comparable to it when it comes uh, to that. I do like some of the natural aspects on how the procedural foliage works, but yeah, that's just me. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. That's actually kind of neat. I know it's really powerful. It's just like I said, it's I'm guessing a balance of time and kind of spending time and learning one thing versus doing some other thing at the same time. Even for your shade example, you could do a pass of large trees, then use them to exclude smaller for growth. Oh, I see, I see. Okay. Oh, that's a cool thing. Huh. Yeah, maybe um, I'll spend some time in checking that out because it does sound pretty cool, I'll have to say. So yeah, let's get this to simulate as well. But yeah, there's so many tools. I'm guessing that when it comes to procedurally place elements, be it foliage, be it what have you, that it can get, I guess, a little bit overwhelming. I think is it still experimental, the PCG tool, or is that into at least like a beta state? Because for example, right now the only experimental stuff that I'm using in my project is the vehicle stuff, and I'm kind of thinking like the chaos tools um, might move into not being experimental before the procedural foliage or the PCG, just because of the usage of it. That's just kind of a thought. Yeah, still experimental. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that might be the case. It looks like the rock's foliage is taking a little bit longer to simulate, so hopefully I wish they would like um figure out how to do a progress bar properly. Oh, there they go. Okay, that's good. So, uh now we have a lot of stuff happening here, at least a little bit better. Oh yeah, Chris Murphy, I follow him. I think he was following some of his posts on Twitter about the runtime virtual textures. I was able to create a tutorial out of it, and it for me at least it works really well. But yeah, Chris Murphy is great. But yeah, VChex, I was the PCG is actually really powerful. Like I've seen some stuff that can be done with it. Um, so yeah, definitely check it out. All right, so I'm guessing for today some level design it is. Um, But yeah, hopefully that was some fun little things as far as the updates. And also, one thing that I've done is I've managed to make it so that I can easily implement a new vehicle if I was to put it in, because uh, so that literally the player would get into and put his hands on the wheel and drive it, and that behavior to be common throughout, basically creating like a parent class that would handle that, and then in each one of your skeletal mesh, you just set up where to put the hands, and that's it, basically. So if I was to add any other vehicles, Far Cry, I'm just exaggerating here, but if that was to happen, it's extremely easy. Like that's what I've done with the forklift and the other vehicle, and it was very simple to do it. I think the complicated part of it is setting up, and you'd find it funny, but setting up the wheels and the torque, which is something that's been added to Unreal Engine 5. Those are, I think, finding a balance for that is a little bit more difficult than I guess I would have wanted it. But yeah, now adding a new vehicle is very easy. Let's maybe do a little bit less of these. There are a little too many. There we go. That might make it a little bit better. Okay, that's pretty nice. Things are looking pretty good. So this end going over here. Let's kind of get rid of some more of this grass growing through the concrete. And I guess I'm gonna need to resimulate the rocks because they spawn on all the layers, and I had yet to paint this area properly. So there it goes. That's pretty good. Also, one thing that I was kind of looking into is, especially when you're in I think I might have shown this in a previous stream, like the lighting from inside a building, right? Like take this one for example. Actually, let's go into this one. It's got a little bit more assets inside here, and there's a little bit more things going on. So let's select the post-process volume. There it goes. And I think I might have shown some of this before, but under advanced, there's this thing with the diffuse color boost and the skylight leaking. So I was thinking of actually trying this out outside as well, like in the environment, because if I turn this off, you won't get. Uh, I mean, still get a little bit of the light bounce, but I think setting this to like a higher value, and not in all conditions, definitely. But in certain conditions, this could help a little bit because it does introduce a little bit of noise, as you might be able to tell. There's like a little bit of flashing here and there. Now, bumping up the scene quality and the scene detail, especially in a small environment like this, I didn't see a lot of big drop in performance. So I think that's still okay. But I was thinking of using this kind of settings in the exteriors and exterior environments. And what I was hoping to gain with that, let's see if I find a good spot for this. Like maybe around here-ish. Um, so let me select the sky and try and edit the post-process volume in here. Vichex, how many vehicles in game? So there is no NPCs or enemies in patrol around the map. I was trying to figure something out, something around that because it would introduce an interesting mechanic, but what it would also introduce is the player thinking that they can shoot at the vehicle and destroy it, think of Far Cry 5, right? Kind of comes back to that. And so what I was thinking is the player can drive a vehicle around the map. In this case, that SUV, not the forklift. You can drive the forklift, but I'm going to limit the forklift to that industrial area. Um, and so you can drive that vehicle around the map without being shot at. But of course, once you get to a specific location that is guarded, then you're going to get shot at. But that takes away from having to deal with, enemies being in vehicle, the vehicle driving around the road. Because it's easy. Like I've seen there's some like I think there's some plugins on the marketplace where you can set the vehicle to drive around in a way, but none of them seem to cover like driving on a road. And I guess you can set it so it drives on a spline, but it's not very intelligent at that time. So I'm still looking into it. Spirit, hey, what's the game about? So the game is called On Your Own, just like the name of the stream, and it's an action adventure video game, and single player, and so start to finish. It's story driven, and it takes place in this world here, which is still kind of devoid of some of the trees. I have yet to spawn anything on this area. But basically, you start the game with this through this little line here that is kind of a plane flying through on this line, and it's actually kind of having some malfunctions, so it's about to crash. And you get three different spots where you can jump out of the airplane. So depending on where you choose to jump out of the airplane, the starting missions are going to be different. But once those are completed, they're going to converge into the single line story, so to speak. And so yeah, the point of it is you're going to get in touch with some of the NPCs, depending on, of course, where you start the game, and they're going to start giving you the missions, and you're going to uncover the story as you complete the missions. So that's it, kind of really in a short little few sentences kind of phrase. All right, so let's see. I was trying to this gives me IGI vibes. What is IGI? All right, so I'm gonna try and see if I can, like I was saying, adjust the diffuse color boost in in here to get a little bit more of the light bounce. Does that happen? Doesn't it? Kind of seems like it does. I actually think it might. It's kind of hard now that I've introduced like the clouds that um, I have to wait for this to kind of light up a little bit. Yeah, I think that definitely, I think that helps a little bit. From one, yeah, as you can, if you look at this tree right here, between the diffuse color boost of 1 and 4, yeah, see, it does introduce quite a bit more up in here. Not sure if it really helps too much overall, but I kind of like it. I'm gonna keep it for now like that. The one thing that I wanted to look at is maybe Project IGI. It's year 2000 game. Oh, interesting. I'll have to look it up Because there's some like gems that are kind of old games that you never think about, but they're like so cool. So I'm gonna try and bring down the exposure compensation to 0. It does give a little bit of contrast, I'd have to say. Um, so maybe I'll keep it for now. I kind of like it. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that was just a side note as to playing around. So what I did is in my Sky Blueprint, I was playing around with where was that? And Lumen, Global Illumination. So I brought up the diffuse color boost to 4 and the skylight leaking to 0.02. And yeah, that seems to make it look pretty nice. I'm okay with that. All right. Well, let's since we were here, let's continue with some more of trying to add a little bit more, vegetation around here because, I think I mentioned this before. I've had to retexture the terrain, or I've redone the terrain shader of the landscape material. So when I did paint it, I did just a complete fill, so that way the mountains get their little thing here, and there's like the grasses at the bottom of the mountain. But yeah, I need to kind of not customly, but non-procedurally paint in the areas where I want to have the, this mulch layer, and the mulch layer is the one that has trees growing on it. And and I'm guessing, yeah, you could probably do it with like a splat map or anything like that, where you paint multiple layers at the same time. But uh, you know, I kind of like doing it like this. Even it might be time consuming, but it's fun. And this is one of the things that if you're a sole developer, you might not want to use AI as much, just so because I don't get to do anything then. So I'm guessing that's the whole point of game development, right? It's just having some fun with building stuff. So I kind of like this particular grunge, and I'm gonna try and see if I can paint some of it around here where we're gonna apply some of the vegetation. So kind of like that. Let's increase it a little bit more around there. I'm gonna need to adjust this road because it kind of cuts into the some of the town areas, meshes, so to speak. And out here, this is going to be like this lake that I ended up deleting, and basically kind of a reservoir for the dam. And I still need to import the dam mesh, so hopefully that's going to come into a following stream. All right, so let me make sure that this guy here, this water body, where I want to place it. Vichax, are you using any locomotion ALS or Lyra? I'm actually using ALS because that's how the project started off from ALS, and I've learned it pretty well now. I'm comfortable with it. Um, Lyra is again something new that I might not have the time to spend on it to like learn it. So that's, it's that's one of those things where how much time do you want to spend learning something or using what you already have? Um, yeah, hopefully that makes sense to folks. And I guess we'll also fix the terrain around here. But yeah, ALS, to me now it seems easier. Like I was able to implement all the mechanics into it, the custom movement, the other states, weapons, different montages when it comes to like entering the vehicle and stuff like that. I've heard good things about Lyra too, as far as how it performs. I'm wondering if it might perform better than ALS. All right, so I'm gonna try and kind of get this to be about there and flatten it. At least I know from, and also this is a consequence of when I migrated all my content from my previous version of the project. Oops, underwater. And once I migrated it to a new project in hope to kind of clean up a bunch of the assets that I wasn't using. And so I ended up with from the migration with an older version of the map, and luckily it wasn't too far old, but it kind of lacked everything that was here on this kind of beach area. So yeah, I there was some fixing needed to be done, but but in the end, it worked out, I think. And so let's try and add a ramp from here to where this is, about where this little boat is. That's kind of where it gets into the water. Kind of like that. I think that's okay. So let's go ahead and smooth this out. I'm guessing, oh, it actually could be a little bit higher. How much higher did I make this? I might just keep it at that point there, maybe. And but it's um, as long as I didn't, the main thing was that I didn't lose the main landscape itself. Repainting things and redoing the material, the landscape material was something that I wanted to do for a while. And now I think I have kind of like the proper layers in place, and it's working out all right. And plus, I really enjoy doing this, so I didn't really mind having to do it all over again, to be honest. All right, so that's a pretty good. I just need to. I think the beach here itself could use maybe a little smoothing. That's a little bit too much smoothing. Let me hide the water itself first. And let's do. I usually really like to use ramps. Um, you have a date in mind for when you might finish the project. So it's going to take a little bit more time, definitely, just, because of, me working on this part time and, but I'm definitely hoping this year, I'm trying to push like before summer, to get at least a demo out, like, maybe definitely not the entire world is going to be available. But the start of the game, maybe a few missions in the beginning will be to be available, and that's what my hope is. Um, but unfortunately, it's very tough to give because I also don't want um, to have something that is not. I'm kind of picky about things, and I'd like to have things work well, before actually releasing it. So, um, that's why I can't really say for sure, you know, this is the time, kind of a hard date, so to speak. Yeah, hopefully that's okay with folks, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So yeah, hopefully VCHAX, hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, it's um, sometimes I wish that I could focus on this full time, but yeah, unfortunately, there's the the things called as mortgage and food and all that kind of fun stuff, the adulting, I guess. But yeah, other than that, I'm really happy. Um I'm really happy that I can work on this, share it with you guys, and um, you know, if I get people interested in it and to play it, uh, the other day I've watched that movie Ready Player One, and the guy in it, the guy that started the Oasis, he says at the end, thanks for playing my game. So that's kind of uh, that's kind of something that I want to say to people at the end, thanks for playing my game. That's if I can do that, then that would be awesome. All right, there you go. So it gets to the little beach here area. This is looking all right. This is my trusted tool to spawn things around the map. All right, so we fixed that area too, at least for now. Let's do some more. of painting some more mulch around here so we can spawn some more vegetation. Oh, come on, really? Oh, unreal. And of course, a failure without any way of telling why it failed. Oh yeah, so you use Maya. That's pretty cool. I never really got into animation so much because it's just so complicated. I have to be honest with you. Um, and this is, this crash is one of the reasons that I recommend save often. And yeah, Unreal is, you know, it's got the cool stuff around like the metahuman, like the face thing where you kind of synced with the face, but um, I don't think it's going to replace an animation software. At least I don't think it will. Not anytime soon. So have you well I think do I have you on Discord? I would love to see if you want to put it in showcase. I would love to see some of the stuff you've made. I think Discord is an awesome tool for people to connect over stuff. So apologies for that little hiatus of the crash. Let's see. I'm hoping that the main level is gonna load easy because there's a ton of stuff in it. And it's kind of funny because I do have it crash mostly around um the landscape editor for whatever reason. Not entirely sure why, but oh yeah, cool. Well, if you feel like posting anything in the showcase channel, I would love to see it. Because we've got some folks posting, some like some different types of, sculpting and you know, texturing stuff. So yeah. All right, cool. And we're back. So as you can see, this is what I was talking about earlier when it comes to like loading in these meshes. Since they're like in some tens of megabytes, because they're like really complex, that's why I was thinking of kind of cutting them back. So something that I'm trying to think of if that would make sense. And probably the next test would actually be to because this one is I also have the old map which has all the actors in it, like the almost 10,000 actors, and try to use that map as well to see if there's um, any difference in performance between the one with the less actors but bigger size in each actor and the one with more actors, more draw calls as well. But so something I'm gonna try and see if that makes any difference. Hey, Juzo, welcome. Juzo-san, welcome. Hopefully you're having a great Saturday today. Welcome to the stream. All right, so as soon as these textures are gonna get prepared, there you go, they're almost done. Let's go back to that little lake area and kind of finish that off. I'm not sure how far back I lost the progress, but we'll find out. So let's see, is it still loading for whatever reason? Yeah, I think it's done because it definitely in the beginning it takes a little bit of time, at least on my machine, to load all of this. So let's see, it's still struggling. I'm not sure why it needs to prepare shaders every time because it's still the same shaders. Nothing got changed um, from the last time. And also like the preparing textures is also something that not, I don't really understand why it needs to do that. Yeah, so see like right now it's still very sluggish as I move around the editor. But once it gets done with loading it, and again, I'm not entirely sure if it's because of uh, this change that I've made to this level. But yeah, see now it's just it runs fine now, but it takes a little bit of time in the beginning, especially with the amount of stuff that I have in here. And I'm guessing that's why they recommend you have 64 gigs of RAM. Oh man. Um, hey, VDSVVS. I'm not sure if I can shorten that in any way, but hey, I've been trying to learn Unreal, but it's pretty hard for me. Well, so it all depends. I guess different. Everybody has a different way of learning. So if oh man, I've lost quite a bit of stuff here. Anyways, but the way I've been recommending people to learn Unreal is through tutorial series, and at least that way you learn some mechanics for, say, like a simple, shooter game or a simple car game or something like that, where you can get some mechanic going. And there's like a tutorial series on like the world building, but in the end, I think the main thing is to have patience, right? Because nothing that's I would say nothing that's hard, that's um, nice is easy. I'm not. There's like a saying, I think. So um, it's just a matter of taking your time with it, and yeah, don't. You're definitely gonna stumble, right? Or you're gonna have moments where it's gonna be like, oh, why am I doing this? But just keep going. I've had them many times, but if you keep going, you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna feel comfortable with Unreal. So, um, if you want, you can hit us up on Discord. I mean, hit me up and other folks that are um, taking part in Discord usually, and we'd be able to kind of send you at least some of the folks that we're following on like YouTube and some of these other platforms to follow some of their tutorials. But yeah, I would recommend, and like I said, that's how I started by doing like a series of tutorials, and because if you just jump from one thing to another, you're not going to end up with anything complete, right? You're not going to look at, okay, you know what? I've made this thing so that it actually attacks me and I can hit it back, kind of stuff. And then you're going to look at the art part of things and like, okay, how do I do the animation, to get this thing to actually look like it's animating and stuff. So, um, yeah, and there you go. Like Vichax is saying, I started with just learning how to open a door. If you just learn how to open a door, there was like an actual um, what do you say? What do you call it? an actual session at GDC, like the Game Developers Conference from Epic, just on doors. I'm not sure if it was, I think it might have been the people from, might have been the people behind, oh yeah, it was the people behind The Last of Us, I think, that they had a session on just doors, like literally just how doors are implemented in The Last of Us, I believe. So which is really, really cool. But yeah, if you start with something like that and get something like that going, it's gonna inspire you to keep going. And, just the main thing, is don't give up right away. You know. Hey, Ayush, your channel got recommended to me again. I searched for video editing. Well, I mean, I'm thinking maybe if you're subscribed to my channel, maybe it's gonna come up in the tops, I guess. But that's great. Welcome, welcome. I always watch tutorials but never remember them. So, um, yeah, that's the thing. I used to like do the same, like kind of watch tutorials, but once like I said, I'm not sure if you've already done this. I was talking about a tutorial series, but if you haven't, try looking at some of these, and you can let us know how it goes. I'm sure that folks on my Discord, if you have it, they're more than uh, happy to help. So yeah, and that's another thing. Vichax, thank you so much for mentioning that. Um, you know, repetition actually um, is very helpful. But you know, I guess they say, to learn something, you got to spend like 10,000 hours on it. Uh, I'm not sure what they refer to. If it's like, learning a skill, I'm not sure how to like do sheetrock inside a house, right? How to do drywall, right? I'm thinking of, or, um, how to do some plumbing tasks. You got to spend 10,000 hours on it. And it depends on the person, of course. But practice makes perfect in the end. So if you do spend the time on something, you're gonna get more comfortable with it. And even if it's sometimes it gets if even at times it might look like it's repetitive, it's it's gonna be easy. Yeah, so hit me up on Discord, and it should be in the description of the video here. And I can direct you to some of the tutorial series that I followed, and it might help you as well, I think. All right. So let's at least you know end uh, end the stream here with for the end of the stream at least. We're gonna do another 20 minutes or so of this, but uh, try and finish off this area here and try to get it kind of closer to what I would hope something would look good. Trying to get this little beach area set up as close as it could be. All right, that's pretty good there. How many software you use for this game? So do you mean like outside of Unreal? What other software do I use, VHX? Oh yeah, so I use Blender, of course. I'm a Blender user. I use Substance Painter and Mixer if I need to texture stuff. So yeah, these I guess three, right? Yeah, and Photoshop, right? If I need to like edit some textures that um, all right, so I'm gonna start painting a little bit of stuff here to get some trees going. And I'm gonna save real quick because I guess it was around that time. All right, somehow we got some of this little pine growing up here. All right, let's try and simulate some trees again and see how that's gonna look. And I think, when it comes to the whole game development thing, I actually didn't start with a game engine. I started with Blender, so I really enjoyed kind of 3D modeling, and I was playing around with it at one time, and I was thinking, okay, why not try one of the game engines and see how it's kind of like um, I was playing around with the dough, but I guess how is the bread made, right? In the end. And I started checking out like CryEngine, Unity, um, Unreal, and I was kind of at the time, just looking at the visuals as and more than the mechanics or like the how easy it is to build a game in an engine. So I kind of went with CryEngine. It looked better than the other ones at the time, but here I am. All right, so this texture actually feels kind of okay for the beach area. I'm wondering if I can revamp this little thing here that I had, which was spawning these sand type of decals. So let's take a look and see if we can get a few kind of sand textures in here. Let's go to bridge real quick. And we no assets here. No, I think there's got to be some assets. Let's see. Do I have anything local? Sand. Dry sandy ground. All right, I think this could work. Let's add this in. And maybe we'll combine it with this one. So we'll have maybe two different decals for sand that, okay, did it get at it? Okay, there it goes. That I'll try and kind of scatter across using this the scatter tool that I have, because this one, I think might have shown it in the past, where I can actually specify an actor in here. And this would be sand decals. Let's see if got the right one. All right, so let's take a look at this one real quick. And it's kind of broken right now because the materials are not there. The textures are not there. But the scatter tool can scatter actors, and this is a very simple actor that I have that on the construction script, it picks a random between, in this case, I only have 2 items in my array. And right now they're like, I need to add them back in. But it picks uh, one of the two and creates a decal, right? It sets the decal for this. So when this tool actually spawns this actor with the decal inside of it, it it's going to spawn a different decal every time. But for now, let's actually create that material. So I'm going to find where my decals are at. Let's see, decals here. And I'm probably going to go with one of the dirt decals. So let's take a look at some of these. And let's start with this here. So this one's going to be decal sand patch. I think that's a good name. Sand patch 1 decal. All right. So I'm going to use this one because I already have like an alpha, or I thought I did. Maybe I don't. But let's actually, I need to use a custom normal. So I was wrong. Let's do custom normal. Um, yes, no bother at all. I use Blueprint. I don't use. I've used C++ with CryEngine, and that was a good learning experience. But I am using C Blueprints. I have a couple of plugins that are C++ based, and they open up the needed functionality to Blueprint, but I don't touch the C++ in that. So, as a single developer, it's a lot quicker uh, to um, to go with that. All right, let's add an alpha. Oh yeah, and like I said, my entire game is Blueprints, so you can definitely do that in Blueprints. All right, let's look at that um, the sand that I just downloaded. There it goes. And let's do the alpha. I don't need the rotation. Do the multiply. There it goes. That's our little sand patch, so to speak, right? And I'm not sure. I kind of like this alpha, gives a little bit of variety to it, but maybe we'll probably be able to do a little bit better. So let's add it to my thing here, my array, and I'll create another one with the other um, texture that I downloaded. So a sand patch 2. Hey Mystic, welcome back. How are you doing? All right, so there we go. We have the sand patch 2 in here, and I think if I was to compile this should work. There it goes. And as you can see, there's all these like patches of sand. And I'm gonna delete, let me see, which one is the one that's, I guess these two over here, this big patch. And this one down here, nope, not that one. Where is it? Is it this one? This one doesn't have a material to it, so let's try and apply one to it. There it goes. So it's a little patchy because, like I said, the 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 alpha inside of these are. Let's take a look and try and change the alpha channel to something else. Let me see. So right now this one looks like this. And let me see, what's the other one? Green is that. Blue is, ooh, that doesn't really fit. Let me try see if I can find like a different grunge kind of a texture. The one thing to note in here is that I'm trying to use one that's that doesn't need to tile, right? It's got like the outline is black, so only the center is white because that way there's not going to be like those hard edges at the end of each one of the decals. Hopefully that makes sense, right? So if you look at this one here, you know, this is going to be one patch of decal and it's going to be transparent on the edges and you're going to see the center. So if this one goes all the way to the edge, you're going to see that hard edge basically. Mystic, so what game are you making? So this game is called On Your Own. Well, for parts of it is that I'm making it on my own, and it's a single player video game. Duh. It's a single player game, action adventure, storyline based, and you end up entering this world through a plane crash sequence. You get to choose where you jump out of the airplane, and depending on where you choose to jump out of the airplane, the missions in the beginning are going to be different. And as you progress through the initial start at the beginning of the game, they're going to converge into the single line, so to speak. And from there, it's just going to continue that single line of a single story based single line of the story. But yeah, like I said, it in a nutshell. And yeah, like the NPCs are going to be, depending on where you jump out of the airplane, you're going to get in touch with the NPCs, and they're the ones that are going to start giving you the missions. So right now, the world is still being built, as you can see. Yeah. All right. Well, let me see if yeah. So this one is kind of interesting. I'm going to move this to the side to play with the opacity a little bit and see if that helps. Yeah, it's kind of, as you can see there, that one's right here. It's a little bit too strong. So let me see if I can find another grunge type of a surface. And no worries. You know, my English is not my first language either. So you just learn. Just have to be, once you patience enough, you can learn anything, I think. Let's see this one. Yeah, so this is kind of what I meant when it came um, to the mask itself. You get the hard lines if you don't have that thing just in the center. That doesn't really work. Yeah, I think the first one that I had worked kind of well. I just maybe play a little bit with the alpha. So I think we were looking at this one here. And let's try and bump up the opacity. There we go, kind of like that. And we can try and make the scale a little bit bigger. Yeah, something like that. I mean, because I don't mind having them overlap with the terrain as well. Let me adjust the opacity a little bit. There we go, kind of like that. That's pretty good. And I'm gonna try and tweak the color darkness a little bit to give a little bit more variety in the sand colors here. So Vichax, did you work in any game companies? I did not. This is completely self-taught. Well, of course, yeah, I guess, yeah, looking at videos on YouTube is self-taught. Uh, yeah, so nothing, and I mean, I love video games and I take a lot of inspiration from video games, right? Okay, that kind of looks like a little beach area, I would say. A little bit noise in the sand, not all of it sand, but that's pretty good. Let's actually paint a little bit more of the terrain around here. I want to make this lake. It was a little bit bigger. I'm not sure. I think after I sculpted this area here, it got cut down a little bit in size. So let's do a little bit of. I'm gonna save real quick because I'm paranoid now. Oh, thank you so much. I was thinking of doing more small tutorials. The only thing is, there's very few things that are covered anymore, or sorry, there that aren't covered anymore, as far as tutorials go. And most of them are made by people that do this full time. And uh, I don't want to confuse, I guess, people even more with, what I'm saying, right? I hope that makes sense. But I do have a couple of ideas for some videos that I've seen are not haven't been covered as much, though they're not like tutorial series, so to speak. But I'm hoping, and and that's the thing, it's tough to make a really good video when um, yeah, and kind of coming up with an idea for a video. That's what's it's difficult, and something that's one hasn't been covered already, and how can you make it better if it has? And that's my main problem. That's why I'm kind of because I do enjoy doing tutorials, don't get me wrong. Like all the tutorials that I've done, I very much enjoy doing them. It's just the um, not really having. I'm not sure if I have something useful to add to what people have already made or made for tutorials. So do you see my my not predicament, but like uh, why I'm a little, you know, um, on the fence about it. Because if I come up with something that, you know what, this hasn't been covered by anybody. Like for example, the next thing that I'm trying to get time to make is the dynamic credits at the end, because I haven't seen anything that helped me at least, you know. So hopefully making something like that would help other people. But yeah, it's tough coming up with a video that um, video idea also. So, you know, people that do content on YouTube, you know, um, they spend time on just coming up with the idea for something that, and you know, you see a lot of them that are like, you know, rinse and repeat type of stuff, you know, from some of the content creators out there, and even from people, and you know, even people that that do YouTube tutorials, you know, there's a lot of, you know, recycled stuff, you know, that's somebody else has done it already kind of thing. Um, and that's the thing, you know, I could do the same thing, but I'm not sure if I might just add um, I might just add too much. I might just add noise, right, into it. Uh, so that's, you know, that's what's tough when you create something that, you know, you make a tutorial of something that's already been done. And you know, I'm gonna put the title, you know, similar as to what it is, but it's I think it got to a point where people look at somebody else's videos and they almost do it identical, just with different wording. And I don't think I want to do it that way. So yeah, that's why it's tough for me to find um, a video or a tutorial that I'm thinking, you know what, this has been done, but it's done poorly for the examples that I've had. So that's why I think, you know, this was the one that I was thinking of for the the um, the end credits, the dynamic credits, because the ones that I was able to find on YouTube, they weren't, you know, one, I couldn't really understand them, and second, the end result was, you know, okay, I guess it kind of worked, but yeah. So hopefully, you know, I keep on saying that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, but it's just everything else comes into focus and or you know, out of focus. But it's just everything gets in the way sometimes, and I don't get around to doing it. So that's on me. That's on me. Hey, John Michaela, Michaela, Michaela. Sorry if I messed that up. I just started messing with Unreal Engine last week, man. I totally see that. Oh yeah, yeah, there you go. Exactly. That's what it's tough. And um, when it comes, like, I recommend there's a few channels that I recommend, and those people have been around for years before I started doing Unreal. And those people are definitely they definitely bring it when it comes to tutorials, you know. Their knowledge of Unreal is amazing, you know. So for those, you know, uh, I'm not gonna do something that those people have already done, you know, because I know they're gonna that stuff is gonna be awesome. Yeah, so Code Like Me, that's, you know, he's got a lot of stuff as well, and I've learned a lot from his stuff too. Yeah. All right, so cool. We got some more trees growing around here. That's nice. That's nice. Let's actually paint a little bit more out here because this is kind of like gonna be like a camping area. So I'm gonna add a little bit more mulch to this terrain. that around here on top of this little. Oh, what was that? What did I do? There we go. Top of this thing here. And I like me some elevation, kind of raised stuff like this is also nice. Yeah, so some folks that I follow, like Ryan Laley, Matt Aspland, they're professionals, they know what they're doing. Their stuff is really cool. All right, so let's resimulate this one more time. See what we're getting. Of course, the stuff behind there, the kind of the mountainous area, that's also going to be covered with trees. But for that, and actually, let's do that too to end the stream. Let's paint a little bit of that on the slopes, and I'll um, get some of that because right now, it's kind of barren out here, so we'll get some of that on top of those. Hey, Graphicer. Hey, teacher, thank you. You deserve 1 million plus subscribers. It was, well, yeah, I mean, I hope so. Well, from 2,000 to a million, that'd be amazing if that was to happen. I'm happy for each one of you guys joining, and that makes me happy every time. But yeah, I think the main part of the streams is, you know, people can ask some questions, and at least that way I can answer them, kind of live, so to speak. So it's, I think with the tutorial, while the tutorial is great, I think being able to answer some questions is, to somebody, I think that is also a good thing, I hope. Yeah, it's gonna happen one day, boom, just like that. I hope so. Like I was looking at some of the projects out there. Like take for example, Road to Vostok, I think is one of them. Um, like the guy he's a professional too. Like he got a lot of I think he got a lot of publicity also when he decided to move from Unity to Godot. Because like Unity they did all these kind of shady things with the licensing and all that, and he just said, you know what, enough. And he 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 moved his entire project to Godot, and I thought, oh man, that's awesome, and that's awesome to be able to do that. So I probably got quite a lot of publicity from that, and but his project is also really cool. Like I think my understanding is that he's like a army type of person, and he's trying to do that very realistic type of simulator. And he's also like a sole developer, so which I really love to hear, and working on this, good, pretty big project, which is. So yeah, I'm gonna paint some more of this around here where the grass was, and hopefully we'll get some vegetation out there on these cliffs. Uh, let's see, where can we paint some more? Maybe around here, around here. And yes, I'm thinking that I might have been able to, instead of using grass, I could have used this mulch layer when I first loaded in this entire area. But I like doing it by hand. It's also fun. All right. Well, let's do the big area now because I have another of these procedural foliage volumes that are outside of everything. So this one should cover the rest of the area, but I'm gonna lift it up a little bit so it doesn't simulate everything because it might take forever. So I'm gonna try and just have it simulate up on those ridges. We'll see how this works. I'm hoping it's not gonna take too long, is what my hope. Hey, Cried FPS, can you do me a favor? Right click on the taskbar uh, and go to search. What? Okay, thanks. um, I'm guessing I'm getting uh, that yeah. Awesome, bro. Are you using virtual textures? I am. Yes, I am, but kind of try to keep them under control. I know they jump into um, they take an extra amount of you know the shader complexity grows by quite a bit if you use virtual textures. So it's only for things that are going to be really up close to the player that they're kind of mission related things, like a hatch, like an entry hatch into something that's going to be further down the line. All right, well, let's take a look and see if this can simulate. Right, so virtual textures, let me think, what am I using them mostly for? Yeah, mostly for man-made assets. I don't use them for too much of the organic stuff. It's also difficult, uh, at least the way I've set up my virtual texture, they don't work on vertical surfaces, right? So it has to be somewhat flat-ish. Like if you look at this rock here, it would look good on the surface here, but on this vertical sections, it would look like this stretchy thing because it's based on it's also based on the height map of the terrain, and that can have some, it's not going to get anything for a height map if it's like straight up vertical, right? So for trees, for example, it's not going to work so well. And I'm sure there might be a better setup than what I have. But but yeah, for now, I just um, I just use it on very targeted um items, and things that the player is going to be up close interacting maybe with. Yeah. So hopefully that gives you an answer. All right. So hopefully, just I was thinking about maybe not resimulating this because this is now covering this volume itself covers almost the entire world, or at least a much bigger part of the world than my small one did. Oh, and actually, it didn't take that long. It took a little bit longer, but yeah. So now we have some things spawning atop of this, and I need to adjust it a little bit more to get those to be maybe a little bit more dense. So if you bear with me for just a second here, let me see if I can figure out. Uh, so what I'm trying to do is I'm looking into my current foliage, and for this one, although that's all the way back here, it looks like I'm using the same foliage spawner as the rest of the world. And I'm gonna try and do a different one. Let me see if, because I don't need all of them. I just need one type of tree. And so let's delete these, and I'm just gonna put one in. Let's see, which one do I want to use? I'm gonna use this kind of giant one and see how that looks. At least it didn't take too long to simulate it, so it's not, bear with me for a little bit. Yeah, so all the way in the distance, there's going to be just one type of tree. And I might switch that to just be a billboard instead of right now uh, this one switches to billboard anyways based on the LODs, which is perfectly fine. I just can't recall the the density. So I want to maybe adjust the density a little bit on those slopes. So it's and again I also only paint it where there's mulch, and I've kind of just it was kind of patchy the way I've added it. What I'm hoping with this using this giant tree, since it's going to be a little bit bigger, might be a little bit more visible. Not so much. Let me see if I can increase the density of it. So let's duplicate this and all right, so this is the distance and this is my current procedural foliage tree. And let me make sure that I'm using the right one in here. So I'm going to be using the one to spawn in the distance. And this one, great. I need to enable the procedural stuff in my, I think it's in the editor preferences. So yeah, bear with me here. I think if you look for procedural foliage, there it is. And luckily with this, I believe you don't need to restart the engine. So I think if I just go back in here and open this one up again, there we go. We have all the options here. So if we look on the collisions and clustering, so I'm going to reduce the collision radius to 50 and the shade radius to 100. And we got a good density here, I think. And that might help get a little bit more of a bigger density for these. Let's try and resimulate again. Now, see, I like when it actually shows that's something happening. I'm not sure if it's gonna be complete once the progress bar completes. We'll see, I guess. Yeah, it's at 100, but it's not at 100. It's still doing something. So let's see if we can get a little bit thicker, a little placement of the trees. And of course, like I said, I've only painted like this little area here, but there's some more areas around here that can get some of that. Hey, Atlantica, I dozed off and dreamt you were working on a planet. Well, I mean, if you think about it, yes, it's or Earth, but no, not yet. Not I have not graduated to the level of planet, galaxy building. Hey, girl, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Thanks for stopping by. Unfortunately, I think this is the end of the stream. It's I try to keep it around 2 hours, and I was thinking of just ending with this last simulation, which takes forever. Hey, Gitish, welcome, welcome, welcome. We'll get to see you here. Yeah, true planet Earth counts. I mean, it's the only one we know so far that can sustain us until something else better comes along. We're all here. But yeah, so this is another interesting thing. Yeah, so I've updated the collision radius. I've made that a third of what it was, and I'm wondering if it takes 3 times longer to resimulate. I'm not sure. Grafiker, Andre, where are you living? Greetings from Istanbul, Turkey. Hey, teşekkür ederiz. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you. I am actually, I live in the States, but I'm Romanian. So I'm from Romania, close by. Maybe you probably know of Haji, right? Every time I talk to somebody that's from Turkey and I bring up Haji, it's like, oh my God, Haji. And for those you don't know, Haji is a Romanian soccer player. Well, soccer for the people in the United States, football for the rest of the world. But but yeah, he was really big in Turkey. Uh, he played for this, and I think he also coached Fenerbahce, which I think is one of the bigger, if I recall correctly, is one of the biggest soccer clubs, football clubs in Turkey. Oh man, this uh hopefully I didn't break anything. Uh oh yeah, hey, welcome, Mr. Jeremiah. Or Jeremiah. People in Iran sometimes call each other Haji. Yeah, I know. It's um I went to Dubai and I think I'm not sure because I know that the languages are different, right? Between Arabic and Persian, right? Or I'm not sure how different they are, but I kind of feel like I've heard people calling themselves Haji or Haji. Hey Zeph, welcome. Hey, good to have you here, man. Good to have you. Release Insight, definitely. I mean, at least a release for a demo is definitely closing in. So say something in Romania. I don't remember whether I heard anything or not. Okay, so mulțumesc că ați venit și sper că aveți o sâmbătă fericită. So that is thank you everybody for coming, and I hope you have a great Saturday or a happy Saturday, actually. It's sometimes interesting when I have to like switch to Romanian after speaking a lot of English. Because I kind of, when I heard myself saying that, I'm like, oh my God, did that come off with an accent, like an English accent, something like that? But yeah, Atlantica, yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. Take care. Take care as well. So I'm gonna give this a couple of more minutes. I'm not sure if it's completely stuck in this resimulating. I did not imagine that, um, tripling the density, not the density, but reducing the collision radius by 3 times impacted the resimulating by this much. So um, I'll post the result in Discord on their showcase under the showcase channel, and hopefully it's gonna complete at some point. That's what I'm hoping for. Um, yeah, so I've looked at the task manager, and it's probably going to be the same as I'll check it real quick, but it's just probably going to be Unreal doing like his little thing in the background. Yeah, so this is what usually looks like. It says not responding. There's something going on there, you know. Um, but yeah, very little that you can tell. Graal, yeah, Serbian and Polish. And I've been looking, looking at news and stuff, and it's I've definitely heard so many words that are similar, uh, uh, that are like almost identical between like Polish. Not so much. I haven't heard so much from in Serbian, but like from Polish into Romanian. There's so many words that I'm like, oh my God, I kind of understood some of them, good part of that sentence, but that's just that happens. Jeremiah, should I pay attention to anything specific when using the assets from Quixel Bridge for my game? Mm, good question. I well, so I use my own shader. I don't use the shade. For whatever reason, some of the assets that I use from Quixel, sometimes it seems like they have an inverted a normal, and I have to flip that. And with uh with the shader from the material from Quixel, their master material, I think they have like they don't have a -1 through 1 or like a negative through positive scale when it comes to, oh, there it goes. Oh my God, it completed. Wow. That took forever. Okay, but yeah, as you can see, there's like a much thicker little density around these trees up here. I think it's actually kind of a little bit too much at this point. Oh my God. Oh, I guess that explains why it took so long to simulate it. But yeah. Hey, VVS. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm glad it was helpful. I hope to see you on the next one. By the way, no stream tomorrow or next week. I'm going to be visiting some friends, but I will see you in 2 weeks from now. So, okay, well, it did get to simulated, but yeah, it's kind of a little bit too much, of course. And yeah, like I said, I just need to paint a little bit more mulch on these slopes, and get things looking good from this end as well. All right. Well, hopefully that was something interesting for folks to see. Really appreciate everybody stopping by, and yeah, I hope to see you in a couple of weeks. So until then, everybody, have a great time. Be safe out there, and I'll see you then. All right. Take care, everybody.